Richard, your question is prescient because we are right now in the midst of that comment period. These rules were put together, not plucked out of the air. They were based upon other rules other associations use for their listservs. These are commonly recognized do's and don'ts, and are really more a product of being courteous with one another. But we are within the comment period right now, and we are receiving very substantive, very helpful comments that will be incorporated in the presentation to the Board of Governors for their ultimate decision and their approval as to the rules that will be applied to the listservs. And all this is to promote the goal of what the listservs were created to do in the first place. That was to serve all of you, to serve all of our members, to be able to communicate on substantive, material issues, things that are important to you in your practice. It seems like we may have gotten a little bit away from that in recent years, and that's the reason for the new rules.
I hear what you're saying, I understand what you're saying. I think the perception at the membership level is that this was a set of rules that was done as a fait accompli with really no input. And that's a perception. It's probably a wrong perception, but nevertheless it's there.
Well, thanks for raising it. That is, it's not been lost on us that there is that perception out there, but it is only a perception because we worked very hard and time again on the listservs and in other ways we've tried to let the users know these are simply recommendations at this point, and we are actively soliciting comment.
A couple of things before I throw it to Kathleen, a couple of things I would add to that. And Anna Scholl is here, and she's been spearheading this effort. It's on behalf of our executive committee that we're modernizing the bylaws, that we modernized the bylaws last year, that we're looking at the listserv rules this year. You know, there were certain members that did attempt to characterize the rationale or our intention for these new proposed listserv rules, and I want to speak to that very directly. Our goal with these listserv rules was not to prohibit discussion, was not to keep individual members from being able to say, I'd like the MSBA to do better on X. It was not to preclude the topic of the MSBA, its governance, its finances in any way. As a matter of fact, last spring, we had a period of time where there was a lot of activity on our listservs. And during that period of time, we received tons and tons of questions on the listservs, and what we did is we provided a newsletter called Inner Workings, and we published it on our website, nearly 60 questions that have been asked from a governance and a finance perspective, so that all of membership could see the answers to the questions that particular individuals were asking us. Now the challenge for us, though, was during that period of time in the spring, folks would ask questions on the listservs, like, what's the MSBA doing about whatever, insert whatever. And our challenge was, we had the difficult task of trying to monitor 30 plus listservs and hundreds of comments that are being posted each and every single day. So what we simply said is, you can go ahead and continue the discourse and the dialogue on whatever subject matter is of importance to you, that you believe is important from a practice of law perspective or just from a general membership perspective. However, if you want the MSBA to respond, if you want us to consider your question and have a response, please send that to feedback@msba.org. It does not mean you cannot have the conversations on the listservs. However, I will also share with you that not generally posted on the listservs, but we're getting a significant number of individuals emailing us directly saying, what can we do to slow down the volume of activity on some of these listservs? And what can we do to curtail some of this activity? And that's not necessarily our intention. Our intention is simply, if you need us to be responsive, please reach out to us at feedback@msba.org. So it is a challenge when we also are making a conscious decision not to respond to every single posting that's out there on a listserv. So lots of individuals are posting comments and questions, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to be judicious in our use of your time and the amount of emails that get generated. And what we're trying to do is once a week or so, we publish a little bit of information and we point back to some questions that have been asked so that everyone gets to see what the answers are. I will share that a lot of this is passionate dialogue. I think it's constructive dialogue. I think it's helpful dialogue. I will also share that there are sometimes comments that are made regarding facts that are being asserted that we believe are not accurate. So what we want to do is we want to provide that information to all members, but not to be responsive and just add to the amount of traffic on the listserv. So that's a little bit about what we're thinking about. The comment period, as President Trufer pointed out, we're in the midst of it. We sent out an email to all members talking about the comment period. We've subsequently posted to all listservs talking about the comment period. I will tell you, knowing how many days we've blocked out on the calendar to work on the review of the comments, this is not a rubber stamp process. We are looking at the comments. There are some very, very constructive and helpful comments that speak to, if you could just tweak this language, it might be clearer to the end user. And so we're looking at all of that, and that's really what the process is supposed to be about.